Today I'm going to show you how to make this luxury rose gift box step by step.
A journey through time.
We're going to use some chipboard from Hobby Lobby. This one chipboard here is $2.49. The size of this chipboard is a 15 by 20. Just want you to see how big it is. Okay. So I already have it cut up a little bit. So I'm going to use the scraps that I have first instead of using this one. So we're going to start off with the window piece. The window piece is 7.5 in height and 12 in width. This scrap piece is 20 in width and 7.5 in height. So what I need to do here is go and measure out the scrap piece because the 20 in width is just a little bit too wide. So we just need 12. So that's what I'm doing right here. I'm going to measure it out and cut it out. Once that's done, now we need to get the side frames of the window. So that is 1 inch all the way around. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to just measure out 1 inch all the way around the chipboard. And then we're going to go ahead on and cut out that piece, that square piece in the middle. Then just clean up anything that needs to be cleaned up around it. So now it's time to bring the 15 by 20 chipboard back in. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our window piece and we're going to measure it up against that 15 by 20. And we're going to get that width that we need, which is we need the 7.5 by 12. So we really need to cut off the 12 on here. Okay, so we don't need all of the 20. So I am measuring the window up against it. And I'm just going to draw a line and cut the chipboard where I need to cut it. So we know the width of our box needs to be 12 instead of 20. So we're going to make sure that we cut this down to that size, which is a 12 all the way down. Okay. We're going to use the width of this chipboard, which is now 12 instead of 20. All right. So what we're going to do first is we're going to cut off our backing, which is going to be 2 inches high. Okay. So we're going to measure out 2 inches and then we're going to draw a line and then we're going to splice it. Now, once after that is spliced, we're just going to fold it down and keep it moving. Now we need to measure out a bottom piece. So we know that the top part is a 7.5 by 12, right? So now we need to measure out the 7.5 part. Okay. So I'm going to put this at the edge just to see where the gauge is for me. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a little marking, but I'm still going to measure it with the ruler. All right. Just to see if I'm kind of on the same wavelength that I'm supposed to be on. So anywho, we're going to go ahead on and measure out the 7.5. We're going to draw a line and then we're going to splice it again and we're going to fold it again. So now we're going to unfold it and remove the stickers off of it. And then we're going to put some masking tape on it, on the creases that we cut the splices in, basically. Okay. And I do that because I like to keep the attachment, but also when you do the splicing, it does come apart sometimes. So you want to make sure you have some type of support there. Now, when I started putting this on, I do not know why I grabbed the Mod Podge to put on the crease. That was a mistake. Do not do that. Okay. So because the tape will not stick. Anywho, so after I did all of that, I did it on both creases. Then I folded it a little bit just to make sure I had the flexibility that it needed whenever we fold our box. So now we need one more 2-inch panel on the other end. Okay. Just like we have on the first part. Okay. So what I did was I fold the box and then I decided to measure from the crease that we already had cut and spliced and put the tape on. Measure it from that part all the way down until I get to the height of 2 inches. And then I'm going to draw a line and then we're going to cut that piece off instead of just splicing it. Now we're going to attach our window onto one of the 2-inch pieces. Okay. So we're going to take our masking tape and we're just going to leave a slight gap. Okay. Not a lot, just enough to allow you the flexibility to fold your box. Then we're going to do just that. We're going to fold it just to see if it's doing what we need it to do, if it's folding right. And it looks like it is. Now to cut our two side pieces. Our side pieces need to be a 7.5 in height and width needs to be 2 inches, okay? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to bump it up and make sure that we have enough of chipboard to do this, and we do. So I have mine turned wrong. I got to turn it the other way, but I realized that later. Anywho, we're going to measure out the 7.5 in height and we're going to measure out in width. We're going to measure out 2, okay? And we need 2 of those. So that's what I'm doing here. So now I'm going to add the masking tape on both ends to attach it to the box, okay? And then once I do that, I'm going to fold them all in, making sure, again, that they are flexible. Once they look flexible to me, I will go ahead on and apply the masking tape on the inside of the seams as well. Okay, so we're going to start with the outside of the box, and this is where you're going to pull your preference of covering. Okay, so I'm using just the cardstock from Hobby Lobby for 69 cents. I think they have a 40% off sale on it right now. So I'm using that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump it up to the seam of the box, and I'm not going to, well, in this case, I'm going to go over the seam. Normally I would not, but I'm going to overlap it just slightly, but I'm going to fold it on the other end so I have a guide to go by. You don't have to do all the folding and stuff. You could just bump it up to your seam and take you some Mod Podge and keep it moving, okay? So as you're laying this down, make sure that you fold your box also, okay? Because remember, this is paper. It does not have any type of elasticity in it, okay? It will not stretch at all. So make sure you're folding as you're gluing this down. So I got really annoyed with the Mod Podge and decided to use the double-sided tape around the window edge part of this, okay? So that is a choice. You can use double-sided tape where it's needed, and you're going to also see me use hot glue a lot, okay? So I'm just going to apply that and then just lay it down. So here's the love-hate about this paper. These paper sheets are only a 12 by 12, so I got to double it up and put another sheet here to cover up my box. Normally, I like to use fabric or some type of material, lay and done deal, but this here, you got to piece it together, which is a little bit annoying, okay? But anywho, so I'm going to have to put that on there, and of course, I'm going to use a double-sided tape to put it on there. And again, don't forget to fold your box, okay, as you're going. Then I had to flip it over again because I'm folding my box, and as I'm folding my box, I know for a fact that I am pulling the backing up just a little bit where that little seam is. So I'm going to go back, add a little Mod Podge there, and keep it moving. Now I'm going to chop some of the extra paper off on each side of this. Then we're going to flip it over, and we're going to go ahead on and add our 2 side pieces so we can cover the whole backing of this box, okay? So once we've done that, then we're going to go and clean it up and cut all of those extra papers and pieces hanging off of it. Pretty much using the same method with the double-sided tape. So now I'm pulling the box inward, just training it to go the direction it's supposed to go. So now it's time to cut that window out. Okay, so we're going to go ahead on and just cut out that window, and then we're going to fold all the pieces that you see hanging over on this box inward so we can glue it down to the box. Now it's time to do the inside of the box. All the pieces are glued down. So now what we're going to do is get our clear window piece. You can get these from Amazon. And I'm going to cut it down to size to fit the area that I need it to fit. And I'm just going to take some hot glue and glue it on top of the frame that we have right here. Then I just stand it up to make sure that I have it pressed down good and it's glued together good. Now it's time to add your color of choice on the inside of your box. So I'm just using more of a powder pink on the inside. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some hot glue and I'm going to glue it down to the inside of this box. I'm going to take this paper and I'm going to bump it up to the edge of the crease of where the window ends at, okay? I am not gluing that crease whatsoever because it will not fold if I do so. So I am putting the glue right underneath the window. And as you see, I fold the window up to make sure it is still working as I do this. So I add the glue, then I'm going to fold as I go. Add the glue in the base of it which is the bottom. And then when I get to the other end, I'm going to fold it again, add the glue, and so on and so forth. So right here, I realized I almost forgot to put my ribbon here. So I'm going to stick a piece of ribbon here so I can use it to close my box with. Okay, so I'm just going to stick it right here at the edge, glue it down, and then I will continue to glue this last piece down. Before gluing this last piece down, I know the sheet is pretty long. So to make life just a little simpler for me, I'm going to cut the paper first and then glue it down. Okay. Cutting the paper is easier before applying it to the box, so you don't have to cut around the rim. That glue had already dried, so I'm pulling it up so I can reapply some more to it. So now we're going to bring that other window in, the other window piece that we had already cut up. And we're going to take another sheet and we're going to glue it on top of it. And then we're going to cut this window out, this paper out on this window. And then we're going to glue it on it. And then we're going to attach it to our box to cover up the rest of that window piece. Okay. So once we cover up the rest of the window piece, make sure that you always leave that space gap. Like I always tell you, fold it as you're using it, as you're putting it on, to make sure that the box is functional. Okay. And then we're going to add our ribbon to the end of it. And we're going to keep on gluing it together until we have it all closed up. And now it's time to add the two end pieces, the paper onto it. We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to bump them up to the seam and glue the powder pink paper onto both and clean up the edges. Now it's time to just glue the edges, seams together. Okay, so I'm gonna glue the front two, and then I'm gonna glue the back two. Then your box is pretty much done. You can decorate it however you choose. So here it is, y'all. I think she turned out so beautiful. Look at her. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys that it is possible to make your own box yourself. So let's go ahead on and open her up so you can see on the inside. Okay, ain't this beautiful? Okay, it has the soap roses in it, and it has the lotion, and it has the perfume, and it has the wash, the two butterflies, and it has a shower tablet in it. Now, even though I did not use the template for it, you can use the template for it. It is on the Stand Store. It will have all the numbers and the letters, whatever you need to put it together like a puzzle. Okay. So I'm just gonna pull it up closer, and I am going to show you guys with one hand, the best that I can, how I closed it up. And it only has a Velcro piece on the bottom of it. Okay. So I'm just gonna stick it under it, and pretty much it's closed. Just that simple. Okay. You can do both pieces if you want, but I just used the one ribbon. I cut the other one off that I showed you guys earlier, but she's beautiful. Anywho, I appreciate you watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I really look forward to seeing you on my next video. And I really hope you try this. Bye.